Okay, we're now starting chapter 9, which is on transformations. We're going to start with one type of transformation, which is called a translation. This is where we move a figure from one position to another, and in this case we want to find the image of each vertex after the translation, where x and y become x plus 3 and y minus 1. So what we're going to do is take each point and we're going to add 3 to the x coordinate, and we're going to subtract 1 from the y coordinate. When we do this, what this does essentially is move the figure 3 units to the right because we're adding 3 to the x, and then it moves it 1 down because we're subtracting 1 from the y. When it says prime notation, that's where we put a little tick mark right above each of the letters, and I'll show you what that looks like. So A is originally at -1, 2, and it becomes A prime, which is -1 plus 3, and 2 minus 1, which is essentially 2 and 1. B is at -1, 5, and it becomes B prime, which is -1 plus 3, and 5 minus 1. So now this becomes B prime, which is, whoops, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. No, that's correct. 2, 4. Now we're going to look at C, which is at 4, 6. That becomes C prime, which is 4 plus 3, and 6 minus 1. So now our C prime is 7, 5. And finally, we've got D, which is at 4, 2, becomes D prime, which is 4 plus 3, and 2 minus 1, which is 7, 1. Okay? So then you would plot the original points, which are these. You would plot the new points, and you'll be able to see that the whole figure has been moved 3 to the right and 1 down. So we'll look at that right now. Again, we add 3 to the x-coordinate, subtract 1 from the y-coordinate. So we start with A becomes 2, 1, B becomes 2, 4, C becomes 7, 5, and D becomes 7, 1. The graph would look something like this. If you look at each point, A is moved 3 to the right and 1 down, B is moved 3 to the right and 1 down, C is 3 to the right and 1 down, D is 3 to the right and 1 down. So we've moved the whole figure by doing that. Here's another one. This time we're going to move it 1 to the right and 2 up, and graph it as well. So R, which is at 2, 2, becomes R prime, which if we add 1 here it becomes 3, and if we add 2 here it becomes 4. S is 5, 2, so S prime becomes 5 plus 1 is 6, 2 plus 2 is 4, and T, which is at 3, 5, becomes T prime. 3 plus 1 is 4, and 5 plus 2 is 7. So we would graph all of these and graph all of these, and we'll see that it moves 1 to the right and 2 up. Make sure you do the graphing part. So again, we're adding 1 to the x, adding 2 to the y. So if we look at it, the first one becomes 3, 4, the second one is 6, 4, and the third one is 4, 7. So here, our original one is the red one right here, RST. If you notice, we move 1 to the right and 2 up. S moves 1 to the right and 2 up. T moves 1 to the right and 2 up. Alright, so now we have these points right here. Ooh, this is a good one. When we talk about pre-image is what we start with. Image is what happens afterwards. So if we look at this carefully, what we've been given is P prime, which is -3, 4, And what we want to find is what P is. Okay, so if I add 4 to get negative 3, that means I'm going to have to subtract 4, so it would be negative 3 minus 4 to get the original. And since this is minus 7, I'm going to have to add 7 to this to get the new y-coordinate. So it would be 4 plus 7 here. So if we do that, our P is now negative 7 and 11. So if we look again, if I add 4 to negative 7, I get negative 3. If I subtract 7 from 11, I get 4. Okay? So I'm going backwards here to get it. And we'll do the same thing with Q prime. We have 2, 1. So in order to get P, I'm going to have to do the opposite. So it would be 2 minus 4 and 1 plus 7. So if we do that, P is now negative 2 and 8. Okay? Negative 7, 11, and negative 2, 8. And we're done. Thanks.